We are going to have security guards, inside and outside, and the shop will stay shut over the weekend.
The people that are on the street today are not here for the same reasons as 3 weeks ago. The price of fuel was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Edouard Philippe is acting on the last straw, but not to the overall problem.
We'll tax the digital giants on the national level if other European countries don't face up to their responsibilities and impose a European tax.
Live now to Paris and TRT World's editor-at-large, Craig Copetas. Craig, the demonstrators have got what they wanted, the scrapping of the tax rises on fuel, but that's not enough.
Oh no, where do you want to start, Jamie? Tuition, fees, VAT, a cumbersome and costly bureaucracy that prevents any entrepreneurial growth. And once it starts, they tax it to death. You've got an educational system that is in need of massive reform, all parties will say. And in Paris, you have a city that the government has turned into a Disneyland for wealthy adults. Now, no one can live here anymore. And even if this tax had gone through, the incomes for the poorest 25% of the French public, according to the French government's own statistics, Jamie, would have remained static or dropped. Wouldn't have helped.
We'll talk more about the economics in just a moment, but I want to ask you about the politics for a second. This is now a serious political test for President Macron and his administration. And the question surely after this climb down from the French government is, who governs France?
Well, it's a political test, and the government right now is trying to make it into a question of law and order. That's what they're saying come Saturday. Now, look. On Monday, there's supposed to be a no-confidence vote in Parliament for the Macron government. But this is more of this French political theater because Macron has over 300 seats in a parliament of 577 seats. And the no-confidence vote bloc makes up only 57 seats. So this is going to continue. President Emmanuel Macron is not going to go anywhere. The kind of thinking on the street right now is in the next 6 months, he will ditch his prime minister, Edouard Philippe, and put someone else in, because this is what French presidents do when they find themselves in domestic political trouble.
Let's talk about the money. If you're an ordinary French citizen, you want all those services. So let's talk about the money. France has scrapped the fuel tax rise, and I think the dumped fuel tax results in a projected loss of, I think, 4 billion euros for next year's French budget. That money's got to come from somewhere, so surely by now France is discussing what gets taxed to make up the shortfall.
Well, the projections are between 2 billion and 4 billion euros, depending on who you want to talk to, Jamie. I think we have to step back a bit on this. France's it is kind of natural, national debt is $2.7 trillion, which amounts to 100% of its gross domestic product. Now, when the people of France believe when they give someone tax money, the government tax money, it's spent on them. Well, it's not, Jamie. $62 billion a year is spent serving the interest on the principal of that $2.7 trillion debt. That's where the tax money goes. When France wants to build a new project or apartments or whatever, they go to the market to take out another loan. So a substantial portion of tax income goes to service the debt. It pays off the vigorish. Where are they going to get the money, Jamie? If you have an idea, I think you should come across to Paris and have a talk with President Macron, because no one here seems to know right now.
Meanwhile, this weekend, warnings from many quarters of more violence, particularly in the center of Paris, and a warning even for tourists, visitors, shopkeepers who are simply saying, stay away.
Joyeuse Noël. Merry Christmas. Yeah, we still don't know how many protesters are going to come into town. The police are locking this place down, removing everything that's possibly movable from the streets. And the government is expecting a lot of people. Whether a lot of people show up remains to be seen. But what the underlying theme here, Jamie, there's an expression in French, ça suffit, that's enough. The French people have had enough. So I expect there will be quite a few people on the streets here this weekend.
Craig Copetas in Paris, thank you very much.